Look at this. I got headphones on. I got a mic going. Baby.
If
Huh?
only people could see you now.
Hey, no video. We've gone through this before.
All
No video.
right. Welcome to This Commerce Life. This is a podcast aimed at small, medium entrepreneurs focused on commerce. I'm Phil, your host, and Kenny, your co-host, will join us as well. And we're going to talk to you about the world of retail and commerce and how things are changing in the world.
Good. Yeah,
Doing well.
man.
You've got somebody sitting oceanside, I see.
Yeah, it's
Annie?
tough. See?
Oh,
Yeah.
you're a
Life's
bad
so
man.
shitty. I know. I don't care though.
You're a bad man. That's beautiful.
Nice.
It is nice actually. Honestly, it is.
Yeah.
We're in Painter's Lodge up in Campbell River, so
It's
it's
awesome.
been nice. Yeah.
Good.
Good for you. Good for
Got
you.
out of the city for a couple of days. I'm sure nobody up here wants us, but
Hmm.
Whatever. Whatevs.
whatever. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever.
Man.
It's nice.
Lori Shopland, how are you?
I'm fantastic, guys. It seems like forever. How are you? How are things?
Yeah. Things are.
Yeah, we haven't had you on in a while. Like we're
Yeah,
supposed
we
to do it
haven't.
monthly, and it's kind of gone all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have been like your guests. Not that I don't love listening to you guys, but your guests have just been out of this world.
Thank
It's
you.
been great.
And just so you know, we think the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quite frankly, we're even tired of talking to each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
We love guests. We love when
Yeah,
you're
we really
on.
do.
We love the guests we've
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
Because I think it changes the show too. Because otherwise, then I've even had a friend say, "When you and Phil are on, you guys just talk." I said, "Well, we talk with everybody. Yeah, but everybody else is more interesting. You guys just talk."
We do. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But it's
But
been
just
kind of
some,
cool.
just some different ways of looking at things, some different businesses, just
Yeah.
different perspectives, some
Yeah.
stories. So yeah.
And stories like and Fardad's awesome. Like I mean, honestly, the guy's fucking.
Mm.
I mean, okay, I'll give you an example. How much like Amelia, is pretty good. Amelia likes certain people. That's it. So as soon as she hears that Fardad's on, right away I got to listen to the podcast. I said,
Ha!
2.5
Extra listener.
years. 2.5 years we've been recording.
We got an
Never
extra listener.
An ounce of interest. Now,
What?
because of
What?
Fardad.
Who else does Amelia want to listen to?
I think that's it. I think Fardad's the rock
Oh,
star.
come on.
Oh.
No, she's got to have somebody else on her list.
I don't know. I honestly, that was it. I mean, I thought, really? Takes 137 episodes?
Oh my God,
Or-
that's hilarious.
Jesus. Hey, what happened to our
good.
other recording? Didn't you and I do one?
Yeah, we have one. We have one extra.
Okay.
I haven't figured out where to put it yet.
Oh, that's kind of nice to have, though.
Yeah. It's nice to have one in the kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing is got to watch because I don't know. Do we date ourselves? Like, do we put does it time?
Yeah, but I think it's okay.
Oh,
Like we can always put a preface on it. Something
The
like
lost
we
recording.
were too lazy to record this week, so we replayed.
Here you go.
We
Oh,
found a
No, we
long
gotta be
lost
careful. If we
recording.
do
from,
that, that's not good. We haven't
No,
skipped
we won't
the
do
week
that.
yet.
We won't do that. Yeah. We won't skip
Right.
one. We won't skip
And
one.
I know how my habits can go. I
Yeah.
can get bad habits real fast.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
So,
Laura Shopland,
anyway, I
what about
digress.
you?
So,
What's
Lori,
going
how
on
are
with
you?
you?
What's going on? It's been good. Full on launching, going into a third launch now for Joy Club,
Okay.
which is crazy. We're already into, so we started June 1st, so all of June, all
Wow.
of July, and now into August. So trying
Yeah.
new things, and the brain just absolutely, I liken it to, I'm 30 seconds ahead of any of my clients, right? Like I would never ask anybody to do something that I haven't been willing to try myself. And I'm just noticing the more I step out into discomfort, the more my brain just goes like totally haywire, right? It's like, "Whoa, that's a really bad idea. Get back in the cave," right? So
you don't
it's
do
been
that. You
wonderful.
let it run wild. Come on.
Oh, my brain. Yeah, there are times.
Yeah. Gotta
Absolutely.
let it run amok. Controlling yourself. What's the matter with you?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, you've been talking to my husband. Yes, I let my brain run wild. Yeah. But
And
How is,
I have not talked to Jimmy in a while, which is really
Yeah.
bad.
How
I
is
haven't
Jimmy?
allowed him to, I haven't given him any spare time. Like he is completely he's my strategist behind everything, which is super
Awesome.
fun, super helpful.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if
lot
you
of
guys
my
could do it
That's really
together
good.
like that.
Coaching colleagues are very jealous of that, right? Because they have to do everything. But no, he's figuring out the Facebook ads for me and the campaign and stuff. So
Shit,
Yeah.
let him run wild.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
That's good. No, that's
for
really
him.
good.
Good for
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
But
Wow.
you'll appreciate this, Phil. I had a day. Well, we both had a day, but I think I totally wore it and I let my brain go wild. And I was just like, I walked around the house going, Facebook hates me. It hates me. It just didn't. Everything he submitted, rejected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
They keep messing with the algorithm. I've had a whole bunch of those days in the last week between Facebook and Google. I'm just like, stop it. Let my crap
what's
through.
getting kicked back?
Yeah.
Everything. They're just being like, so Facebook is being really cautious. You know, they're catching it.
Up pretty quick,
they're catching a ton of slack, right? Like Procter Gamble, all these guys have cut their advertising business.
I know everybody has. Yeah.
So they're I think they're messing around with the algorithms to try and like censor stuff out, but I think it means they're getting, way conservative on words. So, I'm finding that I've had to submit things 3 or 4 times to get it kind of passed through.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if Google Ads is doing the same thing, but I'm getting the same out of Google Ads, which has been super annoying. Usually Google's pretty set them and they go.
What, though? You're only 4 months away from the States, and the last thing they need is another repeat of 2016 where it was trolls and this and that and this and that. Like they gotta.
Yeah.
I mean, whether he gets in or not, I mean that's whatever. I mean that's a whole different world, but you don't want them being in the same problems as last time.
Yeah. How so how's it going? Because you've got a third launch going.
Yeah, third launch going.
Yeah.
What else? That one's super fun because I'm just ramping up doing webinars more frequently and feeling all of the uglies about all of that, being vulnerable, putting yourself out there, and but super fun, right? Meeting women internationally now, and that's amazing. I think I sent you the little note because I send it not. I have to get out of my head thinking it's boastful. More so, it's this. Oh my gosh, I did something I said I was going to do, right? Like that's the power behind. I had all of these thoughts. So what I'm talking about is the magazine article that I had talked to somebody at CHFA about, and all of a sudden, right? And it was my coach had I think it was in January, had said like, what would it look like if, right? A lot of the times I ask you guys those questions, like, I don't know, what would it look like? It's kind of fun. Let's explore. And then that actually made me, the next time I talked to somebody within the that had a connection with an editor, I'm like, what would it look like if you had a life coach submit something?
That's amazing.
And then 6 months later. So yeah, that was super fun.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really amazing.
Awesome.
I really love that.
It'll be like, do you remember her when, Phil?
Oh, so
that's what I said. I think I said that to Lori. I think that was my text back to her. My text was exactly that. I think I said, remember us when you're famous.
Oh, funny.
We'll have to be able to phone interrupt. Lori, can you please, like this, it's a couple minutes.
But you know what?
Tell her I knew her in the old days.
Jimmy, don't you remember me, Jimmy? Can't you just put her on?
Fun though is that for anyone listening, like that is what to find and really just hold on to people that have just been 30 seconds ahead of you. And you know what's interesting is this is a fundamental belief of mine that and I think you guys know our story, but when our daughter was 3, she was diagnosed with leukemia. And when we were in outpatient care for 2 years of going in and out to Children's, I literally went in with the vision, I'm going to make friends with the mom in the waiting room whose kid has hair. I wanted to find somebody that was 30 seconds ahead of us that I could attach myself to, if nothing else, but for hope. Yeah. Right? Like, okay, show me how this, like, let me believe that this is possible for my daughter. And so fast forward now 24 years this weekend, crazy that she was diagnosed, but fast forward that I'm still carrying on some sort of that thought that I'm now applying it to my business. I'm saying, okay, show me somebody that, so I follow inspirational people that I love. So that's why I love when you have other people on too, to say, hey, did you know I had a thought and idea and I just figured out how to make it work.
I think that's what we like too. I think that's why we like having a lot of these guests on, because it does, you think, wow, you know what? It's cool when someone just pushes, right? Thinks and says, yeah, you know, I think I can do this.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I can bust out.
Yeah.
What that means, I mean, whatever. But
And what I've really come to believe is that, yes, there are people that can maybe figure things out a little faster. I don't believe people are smarter than other people. It's just the pain tolerance of being uncomfortable over somebody else, right? Because everything is accessible on Google. We can figure things out.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
take 16 stabs at a Facebook ad, right?
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
can figure that stuff
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
But it's whether or not you're going to just get defeated and give up,
Yeah.
or if you're just going to persevere and push through, right?
Yeah.
That would be what I would say the difference is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a classic entrepreneur, though. Even, I mean, that's,
Yes. Yeah.
you know,
you're
maybe you just don't
absolutely-
take no. I mean, okay, so you fall down, well, get back up,
Yeah.
and you go try again, and you do. You know, I don't know. I don't know. It's something built. I think sometimes it's wiring. You just don't, like, what people would consider failures that would just shut them down. Like, we just kind of, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I was telling me later, what we were talking about. I said, you know, well, we were hiking and stuff, and, you know, because I'm a worrywart. So I said, you know, I wouldn't want to hike by myself because, you know, if you fall down, this, and I said, it's funny. I said, I worry about shit like that, but with money or other things, not even a thought.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You're risk adverse in certain areas, and then in others, like, you just, and other people are the opposite,
Sure.
right? Like, what we consider to be, what's risky about taking a chance on a business, or, I mean, really?
Yeah.
Like, that seems so, well, that's what you would do, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like, that's just what people do, and they don't, obviously.
Yeah.
But what a new thought that I've really starting to adopt and kind of, as you know, like practice and massage and make my own, is getting to this place that I'm totally fine if somebody else has a different thought and vision as to how it works for them. Whereas before I was caught for years doing that compare and despair, right? Of just being, right. And I mean, well, I shouldn't say all, but most of my family are government employees, right? In either teacher or nurse or whatever that is. So they have the stable jobs and they have the pension.
Right.
I think of that world and I literally start to suffocate. And I'm like, oh God.
I feel like I feel they're so handcuffed.
I could never do that.
Yeah.
So, but for years I thought their route was right.
Yeah.
And mine must be wrong. My brain wanted to tell me that we couldn't have two different things and both of them be okay.
Yeah.
Right. And and this is, I think, what led me to, and I think this happened after our last call, is I was really, I don't know, encouraged, I guess maybe was the word, was I really wanted to have a conversation about race and racism because of everything that had been going on. And that was what had actually come to fruition. So I had called a very dear friend of mine who is brilliant, and she is a leader in race and racism here in British Columbia. She's a Black woman. She's raising kids the same age as mine. So she came on and we had 40 odd women come to have a conversation. And it was interesting because we really started to have that conversation as to how we think of things. We think it has to be one way. And if we don't agree with it, then one has to be right, one has to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a coach, I asked going, well, what if that wasn't true? Like, where else is that showing up in our life that we're doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
showing up more than not. I mean, if you think about it, we were sort of laughing the other day, Amelia and I, is that, because, I mean, I think the kids have made us pretty liberal minded and liberal thinking, because that's what we have. We have kids in university, and that's what they do to you, right? And you don't lose some of your old conservative thoughts, but you adapt and you change, and you look at the world very different than I did 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But I was telling her, I said, you know, in today's world, it's hard to, like, because it's so divisive, and it's people want to be right or wrong. It's hard to be conservative in today's world. Like, you would never go online, massive conservative, discussions or whatever, because you just seem to be opening up just a quagmire of trolls, right? No different than race or topics like that, is because you're scared to say something because you don't want to offend. But we were saying that, sometimes if you don't offend, not with the intent of offending, but if I offend inadvertently because I don't know the right terminology, or I don't know what's onside, offside, by yelling at me, making me feel like an idiot, you're not going to make me do any better, right? Like, it's not a right or wrong. Like, help me.
Yeah.
If it's that important to you, and making an argument that I can say, okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was that thick. I understand it now.
Yeah.
Right? Where you're at least with your group, you're not. That's a touchy topic to bring up today.
Oh my gosh, it was.
Like that's you know, and it's an important topic. We need to talk about it. But how do we talk about it without getting labeled right away? And then what do you do? You know what we do?
Yeah.
Shut up, throw the key away. I'm not going to say anything. And what does that accomplish?
And I think at the end of it, we collectively all agreed that the first step where all of us could, well, there's two steps, is one, we had already started it, is have the conversation. Because we are all so nervous and sitting on pins and needles over here that we're going to say the wrong thing, that nobody's actually doing anything about it. So that was the first part. And the second part is just all we can do and control is our own. So it's like, take a look in your own lane. What is your lens on everything?
Yeah.
And then just without even that shame or criticism on ourselves, because Kenny, to your point, what I used to think, I'm now being enlightened to go, oh, I never thought about it from that lens before. Yeah. And so I'm being willing to actually look at it and not judge myself for thinking, oh, I used to think things a certain way. Well, maybe that wasn't always the best way to be looking at it. Maybe there's a different way that I could look at it today in 2020, right? Instead of
I think that's totally valid. I would even like to, sometimes the further part is that if I'm still thinking wrong, bad choice of words, but in a way that's not acceptable or isn't, then like explain it to me, please. Like I'm not willing to not change, but I can't change what I don't know or I don't understand. And by the fear of being either judged, shamed, seriously, you know what you do? You say nothing.
Sure.
Saying nothing is doing nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you got to wait for the right or wrong. You got to let people, I mean, tell me, like, if I'm
it's
not
the dialogue,
right?
Things, you got to have it.
I mean,
you got to have it.
How do you move forward?
Yeah.
Right? Good for you, Lori. That's a very tough topic.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, for the privileged.
Yeah. And we
that
were
really, quite frankly, I mean, I always tell people, you know, white men in the world is really not that big a challenge.
But that's what was the beauty of it, is because we then came out of it and saying, if after you've reviewed the lane that you're in and you see that you have privilege, use it.
Yeah.
Start to talk about it and start having those conversations instead of hiding and being ashamed of it. Oh my gosh, use it for good. It's kind of like that Wonder Woman thing, right? Like, I have powers, I'm going to use it for good. Right?
Absolutely.
I hear you. It's awesome.
I hear something else. What else is that?
I don't know. Yeah. Vote. No, I hear. It wasn't prominent before, but I can hear it now. It's like a TV.
Yeah.
It's probably. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Kenny.
Oh, is that Kenny? Kenny's watching. You're so much on vacation. You're watching TV too. It's amazing.
The boss is watching TV. Okay.
No, it's cool, man.
The boss is watching whatever she's watching, and we're just going to shut up and watch what she's watching.
You got it.
No, I don't know. It is a TV. I don't know what's on. We were watching.
Watching it. And did you just go over and turn it down or off? Like that's
close the door.
Oh,
I see. Awesome.
You guys got to tell me. See, I don't know what I'm doing.
No,
wrong.
it wasn't.
Say nicely what's going on.
I didn't know where it was coming from. So.
No, I didn't hear it in the beginning, but in that kind of like that moment, we all stopped talking, and then I was like, oh, there's something going on in the background there. So yeah.
Which shows you that we never stopped talking.
Yeah,
it's true. So
what's new with you guys? True. What's going on? Phil, how was your time commitment working towards?
It's good. Yeah, I mean, so in full disclosure, so this week is a little bit odd. I'm gonna. It's almost cavalier, what I'm about to disclose, but I'm not. I'm just. It's just the nature of who I am. So my dad actually passed away on Tuesday morning.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So he was final stage Parkinson's. It's been suffering for a very long time. So we kind of knew it was coming. We just didn't know when. So kind of like, so this week time management is all off. Okay. It's off the board. Yeah. So we've just been, we've been kind of getting stuff ready for him. But prior to that, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm there. I'm kind of like, I was telling Kenny, I think last week, like I'm at 40 hours ish, 35 to 40 hours ish, holding steady, and it's great. It's really great. Like I get a ton of time with the kids, to the point where, Kathy's a little jealous, right? She just started a new job at the Royal Ontario Museum, which is wickedly cool. And I've kind of like, I've just taken over. Like I'm cooking, making sure the kids are all kind of doing their thing. We're going out, we're doing excursions together. I think the last couple of weeks I've been working hard, like Monday through Wednesday, and I've been taking Thursday and Friday off. So we can go out and do stuff. So it's been wickedly fun. It's just it's really good. It's really good. So yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry to hear about your dad. That's
yeah.
heavy,
Yeah.
right? Like it doesn't matter how prepared you are, right?
Yeah.
I offer it's still kind of hard, so.
Yeah, it's I will say that the thing I know about, like my family is weirdly comfortable with death, and then weirdly pragmatic in these situations. So we've had a lot of chronic illness in our lives. So my grandfather lived till he was 104. My grandmother was 90 when she passed, and she had dialysis. So we know hospitals, we know all this kind of stuff. So this is the weirdly pragmatic stage. As we soon as he passed, all of us kicked into do mode, and kind of like solving mode. So like next Wednesday will be a highly unpleasant time to talk to me, but but right now it's all, it's just it's weird, right? Because I know this about myself, and I actually play this role for a lot of, like, so I've had cousins who have had moms who have passed away. There was one cousin very close to their family. When their mom passed away in California, I flew out there and kind of did the whole thing, because they just couldn't function as a family, and I was close enough, so I didn't sleep for the entire weekend, helped them, put together the funeral and everything, and then flew home. And that was kind of like my way of working through some of those details to, and it helps me sort out my crap too before I get to all the emotional bits. So
sure.
So weirdly odd. I'm very aware of that. Yeah.
So good.
But
and that's the part that you get to decide how you want to show up. And right now, if it's the do mode, being totally fine with that, right?
Yeah. So it's so, not to be cavalier, that aside, it's going very well. It's things are moving along very nicely. I have a really neat assortment of clients now. There's just some really cool brands. There's some really cool, I'm helping a couple of schools now, like after school tutoring type school programs. Ones that I thought, to be honest, would be too small for me, but they're great. They're all thriving, right? Because parents are super worried about their kids, and the tutoring process, and making sure they're not falling down. And so just helping them kind of get, everything from their Facebook ads. So the Facebook ads is, where we were, I don't know how an after school program gets shut down, but we took 4 cracks. One of the schools, so weird. And she's in Ireland, which is really weird. And so, so getting 4 cracks at her stuff, and then Google ads as well kept shutting me down. So, weird, but
I'll have to have Jim reach out to you, because Google ads isn't something we've explored at all. So that's
okay.
That's a whole nother world, right?
Yeah. I can definitely. Yeah, it's a complicated world, and you can burn up a ton of money, but there's some. Yeah, you have them call me, because there's like a handful of things you really want to do right at the get-go. Some of it you've already got, so your keywords and things like that you do for SEO already. If you have those, it's really key to helping you sort out your ad strategy. And then once you've got keywords, the other part that you've got, which is going to help a lot, is you're really your brand message. Because the Google ads are incredibly frustrating. I think the header, you get 30 characters. The first bullet point, you get 30 characters. The second one, you get 30. So you kind of like, everyone starts and they go, okay, I got this. And they type. They got 4 paragraphs. And Google's like, no, you got 30 characters. Like, sorry, and everyone's like, oh my God, what do I say? Right? Like,
do you remember when Twitter came in and I think it was 54 characters or something like that?
Yeah, it was super short.
Get in, get out.
Yeah. Woohoo! Oh no, I ran out. It's not enough. It's like, what do I do now? Yeah. So yeah. Have them call me. It's all good. It's all good.
Oh,
so yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. So it's been good. I don't know what else is going on. No, that's what's going on. Yeah. Lots of this stuff going on. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
What did okay, and well, Kenny, and then I'll ask my question. Kenny, what about you? You're on holidays, or are you working remotely?
Actually, you know what? I've actually not done much this week. We did more of a holiday. We went out and did some hiking. We're always working, right? But no, I'm starting to pull it back. I told him that. I said, you know what? I don't know if I don't want to work much anymore. Right. So I think I'm really what I'm probably going to come down to. I'm going to bring it down probably to 2 clients, which will end up becoming less and less of clients and more like work, but not in a negative connotation. But you know what I mean? Like they'll just be the regulars. And really, what we're building a house on the island with a buddy that I want to do as an investment. And I'm kind of excited about building again. I didn't mind it the first time. So I'm pretty stoked on that. And then I told her, I said, you know what? I want to go and buy another camera because I don't want to take my phone as much, but I want to take my digital SLR. Because I want to get back into photography and I want to get back into my coin collecting and shit like that. I'm trying to find time. I don't want to. This whole work thing is just so freaking overrated.
Yeah.
Right? So overrated. So honestly, like if I could help, I like the NRC crew, obviously, and Dom's family. So look at there's no choice. And then I say that, and then I got 3 meetings next week with buddies who've got ideas. So who the hell knows what happens next week? Yeah. So this week I'm cutting back. Next week
we've got him recorded though, right? We do have him recorded saying.
We do, yeah.
And I said both just in case next week. Who knows what happens?
Yeah.
You know me, I can't box it in. Whatever it goes.
But there's got to be ways. So I was thinking about that because Kenny and I started talking about this last week, and the one downside of cutting back is you do settle into a bit of a rhythm, right? And so like how do you keep it fresh? How do you keep some clients?
You don't want to make it work. That's why I was trying to find. It's not work, a job. Like you don't want to make it those words because then you feel like you're back to the old days and you think,
But I wonder if there's a way that you put some things in, like, so in the same way that, for these clients that I have, I'm willing to do Google ads and Facebook ads because it's part of the work I do with them. And honestly, like all of them, I said, I'll set it up for you, but I don't really want to do it because it's not my bag and I really don't love it. But I've been in it now, and I feel like because the relationship is different, that the work isn't, I'm not grinding my teeth while I'm doing it. I thought I was going to be like, I'm going to do this because I'm working with you guys, and if I don't do this, it gets in the way of what I need to do with them. And so I thought, if I go out and find somebody, it's going to take forever, and then we're going to lose some steam. So I'll just go and do it. But I thought I was going to have to grit my teeth through it. But it's just the nature has been different, and then because there's an end goal to what I want to be able to get to with them. I wonder if there's I guess what I'm trying to get to is, I wonder if there's a way to put that in a box so that when you do meet new clients, there's a way to keep, like, you've got 2 steadies, and then do you keep a little bit of freshness on the side with, like a canned something, like your buddies that you're meeting for new things. Is there a way that you can scope out something that kind of goes, look, I'm going to give you something that's in 3 or 4 hours that gives you, because like new guys that come in, they always have the same sort of questions. They have like, how do I figure if it's viable? How do I know what channels they are? How do I know, like, how do I calculate volume? And then how do I figure out like cost structure, right? And so like, could you do, like, those are 4 questions. Could you like box up something that's like 4 questions? 4 hours, 4 questions.
Oh, I could do a lot of things.
But then
you know what happens, Phil? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You start talking, and then
No, but that's why I'm telling you now. Like I'm actually thinking about it, because I'm sure that's going to happen to me too, and I'm already thinking through, like, there's going to be a moment where I go, whoa, this is so cool, I got to go do that, and then like I'll be back here with you guys going, damn it, I'm at 65 hours, I'm so tired, and I'm like, but there's got to be a way to like stay in the mix and help, but then like get to a point where because there's a point where those guys who are inventing are not scalable, right? Like they don't need you that much, and you don't.
Yeah.
You're in them, but you're not making any money out of it. It's just for fun. Like, so there's got to be a way to, like, how do I help you substantially and then send you on your way, and then as you need stuff, maybe call me, but otherwise, you got enough to go away and do stuff with it now, right? Like,
see, I'm getting to the point where I think I should just stop talking to people. I mean, and just focus. It's quite seriously, just because I know my nature, right? I mean, because I go ADD and I get all excited, and before I know it, I'm back to where I was. I mean, between the 2 coffee companies, between the stupid bar, and between the other things I want to do, like I want to do other things.
Yeah.
Right. It's and it's always the same thing. You don't want to give up on the money, and then that becomes a trap, which is Lori, to your example. Like your friends, I got a lot of friends in the same thing. That are teachers in government, still working with the old employer, whatever you want to say. The trick to life was get that job, and they're good jobs, nothing wrong with them. Like all good in the hood. Not for me, but all good in the hood.
Bank and retire.
And you run it to the end, and that's the thing to do.
Yeah.
And that's good for them.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to do something different. So I don't know. I'd like to, get back into buying and selling more again. Like just farting around in that. I mean, I'm hoping I'm hoping the building project goes, guys. Like, what am I doing? Wouldn't it be cool to do like a house a year or something? Like, not to make billions, but it's a cool project, right? And if there's some money at the end, but it's kind of fun to do.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right. And again, we're all different stages of life. And the kids they're older. It's not that big a deal, right? The money on that side is not the challenge.
Going out the door is fast.
Yeah.
And when it goes out in a
in bigger chunks.
Yeah. In the old days, it went out just all the time. Now it's well, right? Now the volume of out is high.
I have to wonder. This is where I talk a lot about that net negative, and if there's not the negative to it, right? Like if we continue to be taking things on because we want to and we're liking it, then we ask ourselves, are we okay with the reason for doing it? And both of you, since I've been on here having fun over the times, we've all gotten to a stage of recognizing when we've reached that criteria of saying, not quite sure that the decision, and it goes from wanting to do it to feeling we need to, have to, or should be doing it. And then it's like, you know what?
Yeah, this sucks.
Not working for me.
Yeah.
I go back to one episode where some brilliant person came up with, it's your I think 2 people on the podcast, well, we have no choice. And then the brilliant one said, well, that's not true. You always have a choice. And then she argued it out and made the 2 rockheads understand that. And now almost every single time.
Now look at us.
Because I'll stop and I'll go, well, I don't have any choice. I'm thinking, well, no, someone told me one time. And then I'll run through. I'm thinking, well, yeah, I do have a choice, and right now that's really not the choice I want. Or you know what? Yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'm overloaded. So what? Yeah. I know what I'm doing. I'm consciously making the decision. So shut up and do it.
And that's the part where we decide and get to. And does it have a net negative? Meaning, is it
54 years, Lori, to get to that point? 54 years.
I believe you.
54 years.
Yeah. And it was fascinating. I was coaching a young woman today, and she came to me for weight, which always seems to be just like the inroad, right? Because they think that, well, once that's solved, then I'll be happy. Then I could have all of my ducks come to in a row, right? And I just love it. In they come, and then all of a sudden we start talking, and we're talking about our relationships, we're talking about our work, we're talking about our school, all of this stuff. And it was fascinating. I actually got like just this charge of energy thinking, oh my gosh, here she is, 27 years old, and she's figuring it out. How many more years ahead of any one of us? That she's actually got
27.
Oh my God. It was brilliant of her going, no, I actually do have a choice. Oh, right. And she's got a job that on paper would look really good, but she was resenting it. And I'm like, and because she didn't think she had a choice. And so we went through this and I was like, what if you did? So
Yeah.
this week, that was last week's episode. This week she shows up and she's like, oh my God, I had the best week at work this week just because I decided I could. Right?
Oh, that's amazing.
Like I said, until you got to just get to that point where you don't just listen to someone say it. You look at it and put it into sort of practice and say, yeah, you know what? No, I don't need to do this one.
Yeah.
But I want to. Or you know what? I don't want to do this one.
Yeah.
And I don't need to do this one.
Decision.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the money wasn't the money's always important, but it shouldn't override the fact that I want to do this.
Yeah.
Is this going to make me happy? Is this something I really want to do? For whatever reasons I have, maybe it's not great for me, but I really want to help this other person. That's my decision. Then that's the decision. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
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 But I'm getting a lot more selfish. It's because that stupid 38-hour guy, 38 hours, I didn't put it in my head. Now I'm not allowed to use 38 hours.
Dude,
anymore.
but
So
listen,
that's 37
I'm
and a half hours.
Listen, I'm really excited.
Share
Like
the first time, I'm not going to share the second time.
But
37
I'm
and a
really
half hours
excited
mine.
because
I love it.
around episode 100-ish, we were both stuck in a place where we were like, damn it, like all these freaking hours and like you know what I mean? Like, and now like you were just like, I love building houses, like I want to get back to photography. Like, because I think the whole thing is like, this job has to be, we love this job because there's freedom in the job, right? Like, and like I'm doing the thing that I love to the point where Kathy's actually asking me like, do you want to do something with this cooking thing, right? Because I am like, I haven't found a creation that I haven't loved. I haven't tried, new things, right? I'm learning like a million new things. And she's just like, this is too freaking good. Like, is there something we can do with this, right? And
What do you want to do?
I'm not there yet. Like I'm not there yet. I'm just baking up. I'm baking, I'm cooking, I'm mixing everything up, and it's freaking fun. But she's already like, you got to stop doing this. Like I'm gaining weight, and this is like, you got to feed somebody else and not us like this, because. But I'm doing what I love, right? And now, so I get to work and love it, and then I get to chill out and love it. Like, I don't know how it gets. Like, I think that's what we're supposed to be doing, right? So,
but isn't it interesting that Kenny's description of it though was called selfish?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's my question to you is, what if that wasn't true? What if this actually was the best thing for us, so us to be able to show up as the best version of ourselves? But as a society, we're saying, oh, no, that's got a negative connotation to it, so don't go do that.
Because I think it's because it's the way we were brought up too, because you don't take the job, or you don't take the money and the security. What about the kids? What about the wife? If it's the wife, what about the husband? What about the kids? What about your parents? What about retirement? All the what about?
Yeah.
By the time you do the what abouts, you're 80 years old and dead. I mean, who cares about the what abouts?
Yeah.
No, again, I'm not talking. I'm not doing anything reckless. I mean, we're not in a bad spot. We could coast to the end, and die penniless, but we make it. It's no big deal, right? Fortunately, we're very, very lucky. So it makes decisions a little bit easier to some degree. But I know a lot of friends in the exact same boat, and it's just not that thinking. I know it. I know they're not happy. I know they don't want to necessarily do what they're doing. I know they're not.
Yeah.
Loving every minute of it.
Well, and I would say for me, and again, it's interesting how thoughts can get planted, but it's that early days was like, we have one run at this life, and we get to decide what that's going to look like. And we get to decide. And it's so interesting. Of one of the tools I use is called a brain box. And so really, anytime somebody will say, well, I want to be successful. I'm like, okay, so what does that look like for you? Put that in a box and describe it. Because to that person, it may look like money in the bank and the retirement and all this and this. And for me, oh my gosh. And for most of us, it's like having some flexibility, doing what I love, just being able to like take my dog for a walk when I want to, not when I have to, right? Like all of these other things. So when we start to get down to, we get to decide. And again, it's back to that other thing. Staying in our own lane and deciding what's the best for us, and stop worrying about the Joneses of everybody else and just deciding. Then we start showing up as our best versions. Well, then call it what you want. But I think I want that type of Lori out there floating around rather than a Lori worried about what everybody else is doing and doing it only half-assed, right?
Right.
Can I say that? Sorry.
Do you ever listen to us?
Oh no, you've
Seriously?
ruined our PG rating now. Oh no.
PG. We were general before that kind of potty mouth. Come on, Lori. When you're
little
on,
fired up
do
there.
you notice when you're on? Do you notice how our language gets so much better?
It's a
We
little
rarely
cleaner,
swear.
little
I mean,
cleaner.
I
Yeah.
can't not. So like, but
Yeah.
I'm cognizant of it, thinking, don't want to, we've got to
I
watch.
do remember the one episode, Kenny, it doesn't surprise me, but it was when Phil went off, and I think you even came back and like literally apologized the next episode. I'm really sorry about that. I was just really frustrated in that last episode, but it was really quite cute, and I was giggling as I was listening. So
That was
there.
Phil.
Yeah.
I remember that episode. That was very funny,
Mhm.
actually.
That was a funny one, actually.
No.
Yeah, I remember that. That was very funny because Kenny was like, "You're a little,"
Wow.
and I was like, "What? Salty? Who, me?" And then I listened to it. I was like, "Oh."
You were very salty that episode. Like you were very salty. Like there's a difference with colorful language. Like you were just angry, colorful language.
Yeah, I was
Like you were salty.
so salty. Yeah.
Usually we're just foul mouth. This is different.
Yeah. It's true.
Right?
Yeah. Normally
Like
just
you can't take trail any span out of some people's bodies, and it's just the mouth goes where the mouth goes. I think the first couple of times, I don't know if it was my mom or somebody, you can swear, so you can just do whatever you want. It's a podcast because you don't have to listen to it. It's up to you. And at the beginning, nobody was listening to us anyway.
It's true. It's true. It's true. Oh man.
Oh,
Man.
funny.
Yeah. I think that's
Half-assed.
actually
Geez, Lori, really?
That's the next one on my thing. My plan is to actually do a podcast.
Yay.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you could do a
That's
podcast
awesome.
easy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it will be a blend of the Joy Club, and so I'm trying to do something like the Joy Diet or something like that. And it's not going to be at all about weight loss, right? It's about how we infuse joy into our life, because that's what I strongly coach on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's
Plus, look how many. I'm assuming it's going to still be sort of woman focused, not woman focused, but you know what I mean. Like, look how many people you've met in the last couple of years that you could have on talking about their successes and failures and re-successes and re-failures or whatever, and show people that life is not.
Yeah.
Life is a bumpy ride.
Yeah. And how we can actually, because that's the part of it is, and it's funny how it all just came and landed on the weight part, because I just found that women were so fixated and focusing so much on one particular struggle they were having that like 90% of their time was focused on that they weren't having any joy in any of it. They thought, well, I have to do this first and then I can feel better. Then I can do that. Right. And how many of even other people are thinking, well, I just need my business, my bank account to look a certain way so then I can start enjoying life. And it's like, life's too freaking short for that, people. Like, let's figure out how
you got to get to that point though, right? You got to get to that point. Women do worry about weight, how they look, because
Kenny,
society dictates that you're supposed to. Oops, you there?
Oh, maybe I lost you.
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think I've done anything. Am I there or not?
Sorry, I think that was me. I apologize.
Oh, that's okay, Phil. You're in charge of the podcast. So I can't get mad at you, because if you don't do what you're doing, then nothing's going to happen. Because I don't know how to do this. I just tell people I do a podcast, and then I told you.
No, you don't.
What do you do? I just do the podcast. I don't do anything else.
No, this is it. This is the essence. I mean, the other parts of this, like, so in all honesty, all transparency, like in the beginning days, we used to do a lot of editing. I used to do a lot of cutting and, like snipping, but we are like, at the core of the DNA of this podcast, we're unscripted and we are unfiltered, and this is who we are, right? So in truth, on most days, I don't do very much. I have the intro, which Mark won't let us change ever. Right. And then I have the outro,
because they like
which
it.
I'm sure nobody ever listens to. Right. Yeah. So, and then I insert, there are a handful of situations, like when we had Yuli on last week, she was it last week? Yeah, last week. She was very quiet, and so I had we had Far Dad last week. The week before we had Yulia. She was very quiet, so I had to go through and kind of crank her volumes. And then, like at the beginning of today, I'm gonna go back and listen for some of that TV stuff and try and like, smooth out all that and kind of mute you when you weren't talking to kind of kill some of that TV stuff, right? But that's it. Like, I don't do a ton. Because we kind of, at 137 episodes, we kind of got this thing figured out, right? So
it's all relative, though. See the difference? You don't do a ton. I don't do anything. It's 0 versus anything.
No. But
the first time that we were getting together, and I said, okay, so do you want to give me an agenda for the call?
Sure.
From us,
we don't have one.
Go ahead. Lori, can come up with an agenda. Let us know what it looks like.
Poor Lori. Lori was like, wait, I know you're unscripted. I'm like, yep. So what do you want to talk about? Well, I don't know. And she's like, how about a little guide? Nah, just come on. It'll be fine.
Fine.
Tell every guest that. We tell them all, but what am I going to talk about? I said, I don't know. Well, when we get going,
don't worry.
We'll figure it out. Well, how about if I don't talk about the right thing? I said, what's the right thing? You can talk about whatever you want.
No.
Right? I mean, people just like, I think people just like to hear stories.
Yeah.
People like to know, okay, because it's usually just the two losers on, what makes them tick. And then when we invite smart people on, they think, oh, okay, you know what? Yeah. First off, two losers can actually attract smart people, which is kind of cool. Yeah. And then they listen and they, oh, wow, I didn't know. Wow, she had the same problem I did. Oh, my God, I didn't realize that at one time, my child was sick. She was worried about her weight, all these things. You become this real person.
Yeah.
That's why I love podcasts, right? Because they do it. It's just like I like there's
you learn through the story, right? I think it's really cool.
It's all about the story. Really cool. Who cares about the rest?
Yeah.
I love the story.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent. Like it's that's how you do it, right?
So interesting on that from a coaching lens is that's the part that I love of helping people see the story that people are believing about themselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
That they're not, it's not working, it's not serving them. And so even by just even shining that to them and saying, you can actually decide to lay that down today and pick up a different version of that if you want to. And literally women are like, seriously, I'm allowed to do that? Like, yes. Like how freeing is that, right? That, for all of their life, they've thought that they're a procrastinator, or I had one today that she's a perfectionist. And it's like, okay, that's fine if that title works for you, but if it's not, it's just made up.
And who made it up? Just go back and change it.
Yeah.
You're the author or the director of your own movie or the author of your own book. You don't like the book, rewrite it.
Yeah.
But again, it takes time to get to those points. You gotta.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get to those points too, right? No, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that. I'll rip that chapter out. I'm going to rewrite it. I'll do something different. But that's not easy.
I think it's like, so I think like part of us starting this was exactly that, right? Like how fascinating it is to watch people build businesses, right? From scratch, and how they don't appreciate it, right? A lot of times they're like, what is, what's the big deal? I saw something, nobody makes it. I'm making it in my kitchen. Now I sell, a million bars. And you're like, that's crazy remarkable, right? And all these guys are like, but I'm not Kraft, I'm not Kit Kat, or I'm like, what are you, crazy, right? Like, and I think you're doing the same sort of things, right? Is you're helping these women see, like, you have an amazing story, like, so you got to work on a couple of things.
So
have you seen the rest of us? We all got to work on some things, right? Like,
it's
I think that's really
how
cool.
we can just get fixated on just the one, is it's that half empty, half full part.
Yeah.
And again, it's always the client's choice, right? Always giving them that empowerment that they get to decide. But it's amazing that so many of us don't even recognize that we have that choice, and that we can actually, there's a different path that could lead to a different ending to this. Oh my gosh, sign me up. And how do I get there? Right?
Yeah. Super cool. I love it.
All good in the hood, kiddies. All good in the hood.
Lori Shopland, thank you for coming on.
Hey, my soul.
As always.
I love it. I love seeing you guys.
As always.
We love it. We love it. We love it. We love it. Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Phil,
you.
all the best to you this week as you
Thank
go
you.
through
Yeah,
all of that.
for
Thank you.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay.
It's,
Yeah, hang in there.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks.
And
Okay.
Kenny, enjoy the
Okay.
rest of your holiday.
Yeah, no, we're heading back
Yes.
tomorrow. Heading back to the city tomorrow morning. Or
Oh.
toward, I don't know, we'll go down the coast. I think we have a 4 o'clock ferry, so we'll just take the old
Okay.
highway down, and
Yeah.
Meander.
there's nowhere to go. There's no rush.
Yeah.
It's all good in the hood.
Nice.
All good in the hood.
Nice. It's awesome.
That's it.
All right.
Yay.
Philly, I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
sign off the same time Lori does.
Yeah,
We
you
will
got
chat
it.
with you
You
next
got
week.
it.
Lori,
Yeah,
thanks
yeah.
as always.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye,
Thanks, guys. Have a great
Bye.
night. Okay.
Ciao, guys.
Okay. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, that's the end of this Commerce Life. We'll be back soon with the next episode. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. Give us feedback. Tell us what you think. Subscribe, like us, join us, share us, tell your friends about us. And we hope to see you next time with more commerce news.